we're back on the 13th tee. We were just out on the bunker. Now we're on the 13th tee of this relatively easy, one of the easier holes of scoring. One of the easier scoring holes, of par 5, right? Par 5s. And so distance, and that's why adding those bunkers matter so much. But back here, one of the more significant things, other than this is a new tee that actually has some Bermuda grass around it. I believe there's some Bermuda grass out here. We're standing over one of the water supplies and the pump houses that supplies the water for the 5 golf courses. So let's talk for a minute, as we're talking about best management practices for irrigation, let's talk a little bit about the sources and the pumps, and when we think about the circulatory system in a minute. Let's start with the heart of it. Right. How many of these pumps do you have for all 5 places, and sort of how does the water come into this place, and in particular, what are we looking at
So
here?
we have 2 groundwater wells on the opposite side, on the other side of Round Swamp Road, a red pump and the yellow pump. When we noticed that we were getting, when we were making upgrades to the golf courses, we were starting to run short of water pressure, things like that. We were not having good luck with consistency. We'd have to start, the green course fairways would be running at 7 o'clock at night, and they'd be running until 7 o'clock.
Because you're pumping a long way. I mean, from over there, you're talking about a half a mile or more.
Right, so say in, when I talk about the modern Bethpage, we'll say 1997 when they made the announcement for the US Opens. We were even watering the whole black course in the morning just so we could see the heads and visually make sure they were running and the pressure was good. Because there were a lot of times too that we weren't even sure if the heads were running or not. You'd see the water sort of that pattern in the dew where it just looks like it flooded out. So between the first US Open and the second US Open, this project took place, which was sort of opportunity.
Adding capacity.
Correct, yeah, and we had the opportunity. What's behind us in the far distance is a capped landfill. So that used to be a garbage dump.
Okay.
Since I've been working here 30 years, it's been capped the whole time.
So no more trash going there.
Correct. They have several test wells on the site and test pumps, and they treat water into this basin behind us.
Because rain falls on it and runs off.
Correct.
And that's the water they collect. Don't let it leave anywhere.
Right. So they got the water to a point where, through all these projects take at least a year of just planning. So making sure the irrigation water wasn't going to kill any grass was a big part of it. Then getting on the state side of it to get the funding for a pump house to get built, to get the access to their basin, to get the town, the state, the county, all together. That's takes a lot. But roughly now, we use probably 60% of our water comes from this recycled water.
Okay.
So I've heard, I don't have it on record, but I've heard it's actually is like drinking quality water, but the appetite for that, water from a landfill and drinking it might not be that great.
That's right.
So we use it for irrigation, and we don't have any trouble with it. It's
no, we never felt like it's caused any problems out here. But when you're thinking about irrigation, which maybe you're not in March, like when we're here, you're generally, we take for granted, I think, the quality of the water in the Northeast is usually pretty good. In this case, you have a situation where you're using sort of waste water or gray water. It's probably a better way to look at it because it's not treated. Is it treated?
No.
It comes off and they just store it.
They have filtration and strippers, but it's really just like oxygen strippers. It's nothing. They're not really adding anything. At least for a while. There's the county staff and the people we work with, the town staff, has said they're not really, the levels, like Nassau County even stopped using some of their test wells on site because they ran for the 20 years it had to run.
And it worked.
The tests have been clean. So now it's really just us dealing with the town of Oyster Bay to get the water.
The other part of the story from a best management perspective is, if you don't have enough pressure and capacity in your pumping system, it means your irrigation heads are not working in an optimal way. And so you're using water, but you're not using it very well. So that's why looking into your sources and the quantity you use is really important when you're thinking about planning or upgrading.